Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Nina. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are not new, thanks for coming back. My goodness, we have had an insane 2 weeks in the Taylor Swift cinematic universe. Like, I'm still processing everything. We got the album announcement, the podcast, all of the album variants, the countdowns, the Easter eggs, the track list, and now Taylor is engaged to Travis. Literally crazy. Honestly, it's just been like so much fun and just like so crazy and exciting. I've never been more happy for somebody I didn't know. Like, truly, when I saw that post, I just was like floored. I like couldn't believe my eyes. And I also wanted to show you guys my reaction because I just happened to, start recording because my friend called me and told me to check Instagram, and I just had a feeling something was gonna happen. So I pressed record on my camera and I got my like initial reaction and me like just running immediately to go tell my mom. I think I was just so in shock I couldn't even process it. Wait, I barely saw it. Shut the up. Mom! Taylor's getting married! Taylor's getting married! Oh my god! Breathe! I literally can't breathe right now. That was like the last thing that I expected it to be. I, for some reason, thought it was going to be like a tour announcement, even though she's never announced a tour before an album came out. But like the urgency in my friend's voice was like, you need to check Instagram now. Like, I was scared. But it has just been like so fun and exciting to see everybody's reactions to it because everybody's just so happy for them, so happy for Taylor. It's like literally the most like Instagram post ever or something. I know a lot of people are like being a little critical, being like, y'all are being too parasocial, like you don't even know her. Why are you so happy for somebody that you don't even know that's like the most famous person ever? And I just truly feel like people don't get it. They don't get it. When you grow up with somebody and their music and it's the soundtrack of your life and you've been hearing Taylor sing about all of these relationships and heartbreaks and life things that she's been through, and her finally finding somebody that is her person and that loves her for her and is so unapologetically proud to be with her, it's just been like, I feel like proud of her, I just am so happy for her. And I feel like that's totally normal and fine and natural to be happy for people that have had a big impact on you without it feeling like weird and parasocial, because yes, some people take it a little too far. We obviously don't know her personally, and what we see is only what she chooses to show us, obviously. So that was another thing that just made me so happy, that she felt so confident and proud of it that she wanted to share it with everybody and post it on her Instagram. Like, I'm so glad that she's finally able to have this moment where she can just share it with the world and not have to worry about how it's received because she's so secure in her relationship with Travis. You can totally tell how comfortable they are with each other, with his family, with Jason. They're pretty much family already. I just love to see it. I was just so happy.
And just been captivated with such a desire to want to meet you. Yeah, I'd never been so engulfed in the curiosity of who you were. I get you in a room and it's like, I've known you forever. It's like the easiest conversation I ever had. And it was just so much fun that it just knocked my socks off, from what they say. Mesmerizing on stage and then so real and so beautiful in person.
Hey!
I literally could cry about it, honestly. But the other thing that kind of came up was like, people were like, oh, I can't believe people are liking this post and making a bigger deal out of her finding a husband rather than her album that's coming out. And I definitely feel like those are two different things. We can still celebrate Taylor's success in her career and not compare that to her finding a relationship that is going to be long lasting for her, but still being able to celebrate how big of a deal that is, because committing to marriage with somebody is a big deal, and it's like, God willing, the one time that happens in your life, And as much as her career is like literally so important, I think she's been wanting to kind of step into this new chapter, and I'm excited to see what comes from it. And obviously she's not going anywhere. She's literally putting out a brand new album right now. But I just wanted to like talk about it a little bit and give my thoughts about the engagement and everything. I poured one out for Taylor, popped a bottle of champagne, we celebrated, and I truly think it speaks to girls who are maybe like in your later 20s 20s like me, or, you know, going on that journey of finding your person, that you should not settle for the wrong person. It takes time to know your worth and know when you deserve better. Honestly, like, she's just proof that if you wait, keep your standards high, and know what you deserve in life and from a partner, that you will find it. Because she had to go through so much to find Travis. I just think that speaks to the testament of, like, we all need to not worry about making it to the finish line in life and, like, comparing your timeline with other people. Because here she is at 35, engaged to the love of her life. And I'm definitely not saying 35 is old at all. I just think it's worth waiting for the right person, you know? So we can all learn something from this and just be so happy and excited and proud of Taylor and be so thankful that she has Travis now. I just think with the podcast too, like, her letting us into her life a little bit more is because she feels so much more comfortable with it. And I'm just really excited for this new album and to hear, like, what's been going on in her life and, like, behind the curtain and everything. I really feel like she's encompassing that theme of life behind the scenes in all aspects, and for the first time, like, really, like, feeling so secure and comfortable in her own life. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to go through the track list and blind rank each song based on the title and what I think they're about, or literally just the vibes that I'm getting from them, and see how well that stacks up when the album actually comes out, because I think it's so funny when I feel like I choose songs that I think are gonna be my favorite, like I'm claiming this track, and then the album comes out and I actually really, really like another one. My favorite song is one that I didn't think that I would like, you know? So I think it'll be funny to look back on this video and see, like, the comments that I made about these songs compared to the actual songs themselves. But yeah, Taylor comes up with the most interesting, unique track titles that have almost never been used before. So, like, I feel like some of these, where does she come up with it, you know? And we're in that weird period between the album announcement and the track list reveal and when the album actually comes out, and so all we have is these track titles to go off of, and we have no idea what they sound like. And it's so weird to know that there's Taylor Swift songs that exist that I haven't heard yet. So weird. But sometimes these track titles, I can't even imagine how she would work them into a song lyrically, but she does it every time. I'm just thinking about This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. That is such a long title. Wasn't sure how she was gonna do that. My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, The Tortured Poets Department. These are all super long titles. The syllables are, like, just so much. She does it every time seamlessly. I guess in about a month we're gonna get to hear these songs and I'm so excited. But basically I'm gonna go through the track list and rank them and then tell you what I think the song's gonna be about, okay? This is very much a judge a book by its cover ranking, so I obviously know I'm going to be wrong about most of these, probably, because I usually am. But without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start at, I guess we'll start at the bottom. Number 12, I put Father Figure, and I don't know why, to be honest, but I think it's because it's the song that I have the least predictions for, that I can't imagine what it's going to be about. It is track 4, which to me, track 4s are very, I guess, narrative, so to speak, like Out of the Woods, Speak Now, kind of storytelling a little bit, Endgame. Obviously, all these songs are going to be upbeat, so I am so curious about this song because Father Figure, like, I don't think she's writing this about her dad. Like, a father figure is somebody who takes on the emotional / symbolic role of a father or somebody, like a mentor that you look up to. It would be funny if she was referring to herself as a father figure, kind of like The Man vibes, because The Man is track 4, so that could be connected somehow. When you're talking about, like, a figure, that's somebody that you're looking up to, that's like a role model, somebody with some kind of authority, influence over you. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. I had said in my previous video that I think this could possibly be about other male figures that she's had in her life, such as her record label president that she was close to, obviously, for so long, that kind of betrayed her. But it's probably gonna have to do with some kind of, like, relationship dynamics and, like, power dynamics. There is a classic song called Father Figure that she could reference or make some kind of connection to. I had to look it up because I didn't remember what this song was, but apparently the themes were very, like, taboo, haunting, blurring some lines romantically. It would be cool if she sampled that song or, like, had a sample of an old song. I think that would be cool. She has done that before with Look What You Made Me Do, so I could see her doing that again. But I do feel like this is gonna be, like, a multi-layered song. I'm putting it at number 12 just because I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna love every single one of these songs, so I'm not worried. Number 11, I put Wish List because this is another one that was just, like, confusing to me of, like, what it could possibly be about, because first we've got the title Wish List, but then the second layer of the dollar signs in the title title. I feel like this has to do with money in some capacity because of the dollar signs. If we're going with the theme of this album being like show business, industry, fame centric, I think this could be just like a comment on the industry, maybe like the battle between like wanting fame and wanting to have a happy life, maybe like the balance between like the finer things in life and what actually matters, possibly. It could also just be like the commercialization of Taylor Swift, like her name being a brand, separating that from the person Taylor Swift, I guess. Basically monetizing your personal identity could be an interesting thing to explore. My guess is that in somewhere in the song there's gonna be like a list. Lyrically, it's gonna like list out certain things, like a wish list, maybe like her list of all the things she's ever wanted in a man or out of life. I feel like it would be fun and catchy if she did that. I could definitely see that being some kind of hook situation. One thing that I'm gonna predict is that she's gonna call back to the prophecy in one of these songs. I'm not sure which one. This one might work because there's the line in the prophecy that says, "Don't want money, just my company." I feel like that could go with the theme I was talking about earlier between like fame, success, and money, and how much that matters compared to like finding love and finding like something that's gonna make you happy, because we all know that money doesn't bring happiness. Maybe sometimes it can help the state of your life, but like at the end of the day, what truly matters is like the relationships that you have with people. Fame can be really lonely if you don't have that strong like family unit or friends or relationships and stuff like that. So anyways, that's kind of my take on wish list. Let me know what you guys think about all these tracks. I would love to know. At number 10, I had the title track Life of a Showgirl. I think this one is going to be the one they're gonna push for like the lead single. I think the music video will be on this one. I could be totally wrong, but I could totally see that happening with her and Sabrina Carpenter doing a collab on a music video. I think this song is gonna be I Can Do It With a Broken Heart adjacent, maybe kind of like the spin-off of that song, because obviously now she doesn't have a broken heart. She's living her life, the life of a showgirl behind the scenes, where she's kind of like resurrected herself off the ground from the smallest man who ever lived. So it'd be interesting if that was like a continuation and having like nods to that performance or that part of her life, maybe. As far as the song itself, I feel like I'm gonna predict there'll be like a spoken part from Sabrina, like, "Hey girl," or like, you know, it's like, "What's behind the curtain?" You know, I think she'll have her little spoken moment, possibly. I think she'll get a full verse 2, and I think this song's gonna have like a killer bridge, the kind that would go viral on TikTok and that people would like do dance trends to. So I think this is gonna be the like commercialized song for this album. That is my best guess because it's the title track. It seems like it's gonna be a really big deal, featuring Sabrina Carpenter. I think this is gonna be like the it track of the album. I feel like lyrically, the entire photo shoot of the life of the showgirl will be put into words with this song. The behind the scenes, maybe like getting ready and like maybe like contrasting on stage and behind the curtain. I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious and direct, but that's when I get things wrong the most. So that is my official guess for the life of a showgirl. Number 9, I had Ruin the Friendship. Now this is track 6, which is supposed to be the uplift after track 5. So think like Shake It Off, 22, You Belong With Me. This one's gonna be a bop, we already know. Usually this phrase is used for when you have like friends to lovers trope happening, where if you ruin the friendship, that means you kind of risk being friends with this person. If the relationship goes sideways, you won't just lose your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're gonna lose the friend that you had before you got into the relationship. And I think that's probably the direction that Taylor's gonna go with this song. A lot of people are saying this could be about like a friendship breakup with Blake Lively. I don't think she would write about that on this album, but who knows? She wrote Bad Blood, she's written songs that give those vibes before. But I think because this phrase is usually used for like friends to lovers, I think that's the way that she's probably going to use it. But this idea also involves like risk, and you're risking a lot by jumping into a relationship with somebody who's your friend, who you have like a strong friendship with, for something that you don't know how it's going to turn out. And I feel like the closest thing to this is kind of like Treacherous, where it's like, this could be really bad, but we're gonna do it anyway. Same thing with Holy Ground. It's good to like not think about how this is gonna go badly, because it's good while you're in it, maybe. But when you say like ruin the friendship, this is like the step before all of that. This is like deciding between staying friends and then jumping into the relationship like full force. It almost feels like a full send in a way. I would love for her to use the lyric full send in a song. She did say that phrase in the podcast.
all hands on deck. We're going all out. This is a full send.
It also could involve feelings of like being afraid of rejection or crossing lines that you can't go back on. This is very much the, oh, who said this? Where it's like, I'd rather to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. That's what this song feels like to me. Is it gonna be worth it in the end? I don't know. Will you ruin the friendship? Will you ruin the relationship? I don't know. But yeah, the more I think about that song, the more excited I am for it because I feel like it's gonna be just like, I think all these songs are gonna be like so much fun to dance to and sing to, and I just like, I truly was in need of like a catchy glitter gel pen album. Truly, after Tortured Poets, we really needed to like pick ourselves back up, you know? Okay, so moving on, number 8, I have Cancelled, all caps, exclamation point, and the first thing I noticed is that it's spelled with 2 L's, which is technically like the British way of spelling cancelled, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if Taylor spent so much time there that she just spells things in the British way now, but the fact that it's in all caps, an exclamation point, obviously telling us this is gonna be like, maybe not aggressive, but a loud song, a very like bold song, if you will. There's a lot of ways she could take this one, but I think this is interesting because like I said in my last video, if you search Taylor Swift Cancelled, this song is gonna come up now instead of all the drama that happened before, which wouldn't be the first time she's done something like this, which is so funny. It reminds me of that thing that happened with Disney and Frozen. If you want to know what the Disney Frozen conspiracy is, I'm not gonna say it on here just because it's, just look it up. But basically, you search Disney Frozen, the movie comes up, and that was to, you know, block something else that word was connected with before. So it's all about kind of like having a phrase and like doing a 180 and changing the meaning of it, and I think that's what Taylor's gonna do with this song. Travis said this one's gonna make us dance. It's gonna make you move, and that makes me really excited. This is a track 10, which I've said before is like the more like aggressive kind of songs, like Better Than Revenge, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, The Way I Loved You, just like very emotional, passionate situation. But yeah, I think it might not be exactly how we think she's going to use it. Let me know what your best guess is for this song. At number 7, I put Eldest Daughter. This is the track 5 of the album, and unfortunately I'm not the eldest daughter, so I can't fully relate to this sentiment, but my sister is the eldest daughter, so she will be very excited about it. I am a middle child, so, but I do feel like I could probably take on some of these traits. Anyways, the eldest daughter is kind of like caretaker, overachiever, carries like the emotional burden of the family, could also be a child who has to parent her younger siblings. I saw a TikTok about this saying that eldest daughter is very different from eldest son. Like eldest daughter is just like that second motherly figure. There's like a lot more responsibility and pressure and expectations that come with that because just like being a woman, they're the problem solver, always the one to help, not the one being helped, I guess. Different emotions that come with this, maybe being like emotionally exhausted, having some quiet resentment, self-sacrificing. And if we put this in the context of Taylor, she is technically the eldest daughter, but I feel like this is probably for her just being like a role model to all the girls that are looking up to her, growing up with her, the impact that she has on the younger generation. That's like a big load to carry, especially now that she's like the most famous she's ever been. And I think this is something that she took on really heavily in her early years of like debut through like the Red era. She was always this like good girl image. She never did anything rebellious. She always did what she was told. She always put forth that she wanted to be a role model. But with that could definitely come some grief moving into her like later adult years because she had always tried to put up this persona. Maybe when she went from like Reputation on was very much more like a not so much caring about that perception of her, but like maybe a lot of songs like Nothing New, The Archer, Mirror Ball vibes for this song. Although it's, you know, this album says it's going to be more upbeat. I said this before, but I think this track 5 is going to be like very upbeat sounding, but the lyrics are still going to hit really hard. Similar to All You Had to Do Was Stay on 1989, that song is like a bop and like a dance track, but it also has like really deep lyrics, and I think that's what we're gonna get here. So I guess maybe like eldest daughter could just be like you're putting on a performance, you know, life of the showgirl, but behind the scenes you're actually just like feeling very emotionally exhausted. So I feel like that might be what she's going for with this song, but I guess we will see. At number 6, I have Honey, and I definitely think this song's gonna be about her relationship with Travis because, first of all, the Easter egg that she posted on her Instagram story for Happy Gilmore 2 with the honey pot, which was an Easter egg for the movie itself and Travis's role in it, but I think also obviously for this track title. Just from watching the podcast, you can see how affectionate they are with each other and how Travis calls her sweetie, and just like they're very affectionate in that way. And both of them are very vocal about how they feel about each other. Literally, like, they were just gassing each other up on the podcast. It was just so funny and it was cute to see. I wrote down Sweet Like Honey from the song Karma. Karma is the guy on the Chiefs. I don't think that's connected, but I think it's funny. So I think this is gonna be a love song, and for whatever reason, I feel like this song is going to fit into the category with Dress, False God, So It Goes. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling, but I feel like it is. There's gotta be at least one song on this album that fits into that category, and I think this might be that one. I don't really have any other thoughts about this song because it literally just says honey. It could be a nickname for your significant other. It could be a metaphor. Like, it literally could be so many things. I don't know why. I just have a good feeling about it. Number 5, I have Elizabeth Taylor, which is our track 2, and this song is going to be like obviously a bop because it's track 2, and this is like the hard hitting. Usually track 2s are singles, usually they're on the radio, on the charts, but this one I feel like has so much context to it because Elizabeth Taylor is like such a prominent figure that parallels Taylor's life, and she has name dropped her before in Ready For It, Burton to this Taylor, and there's just so many connections and parallels between the life of Elizabeth Taylor and Taylor Swift herself, just being a very strong, iconic woman in the entertainment industry. One connection with this album is that Taylor has that picture with the like diamond thing and the black bob. This looks very much like the role that Elizabeth Taylor played in the movie Cleopatra, which she starred in with Richard Burton. And then if you remember the lyrics of When Emma Falls in Love, it says, she's the kind of book that you can't put down, like if Cleopatra grew up in a small town. That's a little lyrical nod there. But Elizabeth Taylor became the highest paid actress of the 1960s, which obviously connects to Taylor being literally like the most successful woman in the industry, but also just person in general. And also throughout her career, Elizabeth Taylor worked for fair compensation, fair pay, creative independence in the industry, and Taylor's obviously done the same thing before with like the Spotify streaming, standing up for small artists on the streaming platforms, obviously re-recording and reclaiming her masters and changing the way that people go into their contracts with record labels. There's a picture of Taylor in the Wildest Dreams music video that looks just like Elizabeth Taylor, and Elizabeth Taylor was like known for her eyes because in certain light they looked violet, like purple, and sometimes Taylor's eyes are so piercing, and they're definitely blue, but like there's sometimes where I'm just like, her eyes are insane. So even like that visual comparison between the two of them being like style beauty icons, highly publicized love life. Of course, Elizabeth Taylor had like 7 husbands, and Richard Burton was like the most well-known of them, and Taylor being constantly criticized for whoever she was dating at the time, even though she was dating like a normal 20-year-old. And as I was doing my little bit of research here, I saw this line that like kind of ties it all together, where it says both women refused to be reduced to who they were dating. They made love a source of power, not weakness. And then I wrote, Elizabeth walked so Taylor could run. So that's just kind of like the comparisons between the two of them. I think this song's gonna be like super hard hitting. I'm very excited for it. Glamorous is the word that comes to mind. So yeah, that one is sitting at number 5. And then we get to number 4, and I have track 1, The Fate of Ophelia, as my 4th slot here. I kind of went over the background in the last video that I did, but this one has a very direct reference to a Shakespeare character, Ophelia, who basically is driven to madness and drowns in a brook surrounded by flowers. She falls out of a willow tree, which is quite funny that that connects, you know, to Taylor. But basically, the fate of Ophelia is that she was cursed to only talk in riddles and rhymes, which is a pretty similar parallel to Taylor, because like the only way she was able to express her emotions and her grievances with all of these relationships is through song and poetry. It was like she was cursed to write songs about all of these people and like, you know, the prophecy and whatnot. And I think this song is going to be about her escaping the fate of Ophelia and not succumbing to the madness, obviously. Fresh out the slammer. So I think the question will be like, will I escape the fate of Ophelia until I escape the fate of Ophelia? It's going to be a really good transition song out of like the Tortured Poets era into the new Showgirl era. But if we look back on Tortured Poets, in the In Summation poem, she was just talking about pleading for temporary insanity. That is her basis for acting in the way that she did and just like how it drove her to, you know, absolute madness. So I definitely think this song is going to be about coming out on the other side and what that looks like. But how appropriate to transition into the new era with a direct reference to one of the world's most famous poets, Shakespeare. I will say this, Taylor is so intentional about the track list top to bottom, and that's my favorite way to listen to her albums, honestly, because she just like crafts the track list so meticulously, and I think there's no song that randomly is placed, and I think this one's gonna be a very hard-hitting lead-off track for the album. I will say, I think the reason she named it The Fate of Ophelia is not just because of the content of the song and what that's gonna be, but also there's so many songs people have written about Ophelia. I think it was the Lumineers. Ophelia, there's a lot of songs, but what Taylor kind of does is take something that has been done before and completely bring a new perspective, a fresh new commentary on it, and I think that's what she's going to do with this song. Okay, 3 more songs. This is my top 3 songs that I'm gonna claim with like literally no basis other than I like the way that they sound and the vibes that they're giving me. In my number 3 slot is Actually Romantic, and I just really love the title, but that could just be me like judging a book by its cover, of course, but I really think this is gonna be like the anatomy of a genuine love song. That'll be like one idea that I have about it, but also a comment on the way that life can feel romantic in more ways than just the obvious like relationship type of romance. I think it could be about romanticizing the ordinary, which I feel like is what she has been doing since her time off of the tour. Like she's been baking sourdough and Travis plays video games and they just like go out to dinner. She's just living a very normal life right now, and I think she's figuring out how a life behind the curtain can be romantic and not just when you're jet setting around to different countries and touring and like the glamorous lifestyle she's used to, very nomadic, like not really like rooted in one place for too long. It could also be juxtaposing what she thought romance was before she met Travis and what it actually feels like. For example, when he got Taylor the like diamond friendship bracelet, that is like such a thoughtful, intentional gift, because not only is it like a nice gift because it's a bracelet, but it's also personalized to her and it had the TNT on it. So cute. Obviously that is how he shot his shot with the friendship bracelet, and it's very apparent in the Swiftie fandom and important to her lyrics and her life, and so I think the little things like that is what is actually romantic, and also just enjoying everyday life can be romantic. I think this song could have a tinge of irony and like sarcasm to it because of like the word actually, like, oh, this is actually romantic, not this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, so I feel like this could be a mix of both her poking fun at things that she had thought of before as romantic and what true romance is to her now. And I'm excited because it's a track 7, and usually track 7s are overlooked, but I just have such a good feeling about this one. My second slot here, top 2, Wood. Now this is track 9, and I am a track 9 girly, and so I'm very excited. I don't know why this title just like intrigues me so much, because it's literally just like one word, wood. So ambiguous, like could be so many different things. Kind of went over this in my last video, but people think it could be short for Hollywood if we're going with the showgirl theme. There was an actress named Natalie Wood who kind of was connected with some Easter eggs because she starred in Miracle on 34th Street. Travis was wearing the Miracle sweatshirt, and also she died by drowning after being afraid of the water her whole life. She was on a trip off the coast of California going to Catalina Island, and she got into a fight with her significant other. Something happened. She ended up drowning at night in the water. Still to this day, they don't really know exactly what happened, but that totally connects with Ophelia because she obviously died by drowning. It's a really weird coincidence there. Does this have to do with Pinocchio and the fact that he was a wooden puppet turned real boy? Could be. But recently I saw somebody on TikTok talk about this Easter egg and kind of like debunk it, because Pinocchio's covering its eyes, and in the movie he actually covers his eyes when the showgirls are on stage dancing because he gets like shy or something. So I thought that was kind of funny, that connects with like the showgirl dance routine and Pinocchio's like covering his eyes. And then Jiminy Cricket was also there. He kind of represented Pinocchio's conscience and like his inner guidance, I guess. But I do feel like there might be more to the little Pinocchio thing. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, but if in terms of this song, Wood, it could be alluding to like the fact that before she felt like a puppet on the stage, like a showgirl, it took her finding true love to feel like a real person. There you go. I've said before, but fire needs wood. We've got the fire heart emoji. Maybe fire is going to be involved in this song somehow. I wrote down that this song could have like homophones, which is like two words that sound the same but are spelled different. So I feel like she could have wood as in like a piece of wood, and then would as in like, oh, I wish you would. So that would be interesting. Lyrically, I think this song could have some nature imagery, possibly. I was just kind of like searching around to see if like wood had any type of meaning, and apparently it symbolizes like growth, strength, emotional resilience. So that could be something. But yeah, I don't want to look too into it because it's literally just wood and it could be so many things. Track 9, number 2 on my list as far as ranking it before it comes out, before I've heard it. And then for my top slot, the one I'm most excited to hear is Opalite, and this is track 3. This one just gives me all the magical vibes. I don't know why, like enchanted, sparkly, because opalite is like a piece of glass that's like shimmery. I don't know why, I just think I'm gonna love it. And also, yesterday or 2 days ago on the podcast, Travis said that this is the one that he's been listening to a lot lately and that he's really like head bopping to, so that makes me excited about it. But essentially, opalite is not opal. It's a man-made glass manufactured to look like a more expensive gemstone. According to the Crystal Girlies, it represents emotional healing, self-expression for people who are holding back feelings, and it also says it's called the Stone of Eternity, symbolizing lasting connection. That could be something, especially because she just got engaged. Apparently, the opalite also represents transformation, which makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of change and growth Taylor has been through in the last couple years. But I've also heard if you hold it up to the light, it changes color and it like is like illuminated. And so I feel like that might have something to do with like Life of the Showgirl. Like if the spotlight is on it, it shines bright. I also think this has something to do with like appearing with like this facade on the outside, but that's not who you actually are on the inside, I guess. If we're taking it into context with the theme of this album, Behind the Curtain, she's appearing sparkling, shimmering on the stage in her glitter bodysuit, but then when she comes off stage, that's not who her everyday life is. That's not her everyday personality, and she obviously doesn't trapeze around in a bejeweled bodysuit every day of her life. So I think this album is truly going to be taking us behind the curtain, and I think that's what's so exciting about it, because as much as albums like Tortured Poets really let us into her most raw, emotional, vulnerable lyrics, I think even just with the podcast and everything that has been shared about this album, feels like this is gonna be like so close to her life outside of being Taylor Swift, if that makes sense, which is so refreshing. And I'm calling it now. This is gonna be album of the year. Like, I can already tell the way that she's talking about this album. It's very similar to how she used to talk about 1989 when it was first coming out, like how much every single song is so sonically cohesive and how every song on it is there for a million reasons, and how intentional and focused this album was. And I feel like I haven't heard her talk about an album this way since 1989, which is exciting because I do feel like, you know, it's been a while since we've had like a true pop upbeat album. So yes, one more time, I'll go through my ranking. We've got 1, Opalite, 2, Wood, 3, Actually Romantic, 4, Fate of Ophelia, 5, Elizabeth Taylor, 6, Honey, 7, Eldest Daughter, 8, Cancelled, 9, Ruin the Friendship, 10, Life of a Showgirl, 11, Wishlist, and 12, Father Figure. And I'm sure I will be back to correct myself because I will probably be wrong about a lot of these. Just watch. I feel like Wishlist will be like my top song or something. But it is very exciting to be in this period of like anticipation and being in another Taylor Swift album release season, a new fall album that's gonna be my soundtrack for the rest of the year. I think she might be done putting out vinyl variants, at least I'm hoping so, because it's getting expensive. My wallet is hurting. As far as if I think Taylor is going to tour this album, I'm leaning towards no, which is kind of crazy because, you know, obviously she's never not toured for an album besides like when the pandemic happened and everything, but I think she'll at least take more time off from touring for this because the Eras Tour seemed to be a very, very exhausting yet fulfilling experience for her, and I don't think she's kind of ready to get back into that because quite literally she had never toured longer than she did on the Eras Tour, and she had never had a show that physically demanding before, and so I just cannot see her touring anytime soon. I think my prediction is if she is planning to do live shows, that it would be some type of residency in like a handful of cities. So like maybe she'd spend like 1 month in LA, 1 month in New York, like doing like 2 shows a weekend or something something. I don't know. Like, she's too big to like play in stadiums, honestly. So yeah, the jury's out on that. As far as this last 4 weeks before the album comes out, I can assume something else is going to happen. I'm not sure. We've had like all the countdowns, the 6 different vinyl variants, the CDs. She might put out merch, which would be exciting. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. Please tell me what your blind ranking is of this track list down below, and we can compare and see what tracks are you claiming, which titles are your favorite, what vibes do you think they're going to have, all the things. So we'll chat down in the comments. But thank you guys so much for being here. Subscribe if you want more videos to come, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.